I have a normie problem with family and friends of family. All the twats that keep coming round to our house and keep talking about things. Ooh, do you think there might be something going on? Ooh, I think we might be becoming a police state. Ooh, blah, blah, blah. Can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. Too late. Too long in the tooth. You know, if you actually cared about your children and weren't selfish and weren't such a pansy that you had to hide your face and cower away every time this information comes up, you'd actually be useful to them. You'd actually be a man. You'd actually man up rather than being a fucking pussy. But of course, all the normies, they're scared to death of the conspiracy, aren't they? They're scared to death that we were right in all these decades when we were saying things and we were called conspiracy theorists. Quite frankly, now I want revenge on them. That's why I'm not letting them get anything. I'm not letting them get anything. I'm not giving the normies anything. They are the architects of our doom. In fact, if they weren't here, we'd be far better off. We'd be less divided. We'd be less going into the establishment, head first, blindfold. The television, they always cling back to the television and watch television news. Oh yeah, that's an authoritative source. Oh, Facebook told me, which NewsGuard told me, which is Snopes supported it. Yeah, that must be an authoritative source then, mustn't it, you fucking morons? Why should I waste my time with you people? You fucking moron people. What's the point? What do I get out of it? What do you get out of it? What do your children get out of it? You're just going to condemn them to death. You don't seem to care. You're more interested in hiding and protecting yourself than you are protecting your children and facing reality. You're selfish. You're weak. I hear the conversations in my house. I hear like, oh no, that again. Oh, it's just going to be depressing. Oh, it's not all depressing. If you actually live in this world and you see the people like comedians, Alistair Williams, etc., you see what's happening to them, you can still laugh at things that they say. They are comedians. They're lighthearted. And when you see how popular all the channels are, it gives us hope. And we have to know that there's a sense of hope. Otherwise, it just feels hopeless, don't you know? Well, the reason it seems depressing is because you're looking at it like a them and us mentality. You're looking at it like it's you and the media and every other normie versus conspiracy theorists and people. It's not like that. It's you and all the people and all the conspiracy theorists versus the media. That's the real paradigm, but you don't understand that because you're a normie and you never will. That's all you do. You just virtue signal. You're just a useful idiot. You're just useless to humanity and you're useless to the future of freedom and your children. You're useless to your children. You failed them. You're a shame. Shame on you all for running to the BBC and listening to people like Ross Kemp, the propagandist. Shame on you all for listening and laughing at people like Eddie Izzard. Shame on you all for still flocking to their box sets and the stupid movies on Hollywood fucking crap that they produce. Shame on you all for wasting this finite time which is precious. We know we're being demoralised. Culture, society is being upended. It's being demoralised. It's following the communist playbook. It's going to be destroyed. It's being demoralised as a prelude to being exterminated. And how is that going to happen? Well, 5G, people finding out about the conspiracies and killing themselves, mass psychosis all round, all the things from social media. Social media is there to destroy society. That is what the whistleblowers and the original documents say, and we know that now. And yet you normies, you still cling to it and say, oh, Facebook's brilliant, isn't it? Oh, YouTube's brilliant, isn't it? Well, I must admit, even the woke, even the awake, red-pilled individuals, the based people like myself, we use YouTube far too regularly. We rely on it far too often. It is the Gulag. And we know that from the leaks recently from Project Veritas, that Google is the Gulag. And Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and all the rest, they're all the same. You know what? PayPal and Subscribestar, probably not Subscribestar, Patreon, all these things are all the same. They're all the Gulag. And BBC and CNN and New York Times and Washington Post and the Daily Mail and the Guardian, it's all the Gulag. And Mashable and Gizmodo and Vice and Vox and Salon and Slate, it's all the Gulag. Do you get it? Even Wikipedia is the Gulag. Everything's been converted to be the Gulag. That was the purpose in all this globalization and this linking of social media and all these different websites, etc. It was all designed so it could be subverted and become the Gulag to trap people. And now police are arresting like 4,000 people a year because of, oh, hate speech online. Do you really think they're trawling Gab for that? No, I don't. Do you? I think they're trawling Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I think they're just going through the Gulag and arresting people because it's an easy target and it's an easy kill and it's an easy way to get their statistics up without actually doing any work, without actually putting themselves at risk, because that's what the pussy common purpose cops do. You know, just watching Alistair Williams' live streams attempts is fascinating because every time he starts talking about mass shootings or the police standing down, his sound goes. it gets muted. He's getting censored. He's getting targeted by the Gulag because he's operating in a Gulag. And then he says about his Twitter page, oh, join my Twitter page. No, we're not joining Twitter because Twitter is the Gulag big time. Twitter is the main Gulag. It's the one that's allowed all the leftists. It's the one, and Facebook said that they would allow death threats against Paul Joseph Watson, against any individual that's been marked as dangerous. They would allow death threats against, even though death threats are illegal. Gab doesn't even allow that. So Facebook, it's not that it censors free speech entirely, it censors reasonable, moderate speech and encourages extremist speech, and has left people on who are aligned with the thinking of the agenda and aligned with the Gulag. The Gulag which is funded by Saudi Arabia, the Gulag which is, you know, the one that's China's pushing for the social credit system to upend society even further. We didn't even look into regulations on the apps and how it would change society, but some people knew about it because we know from leaks and documents and the original plans with the CIA working with the government to bring about Facebook and working with the media. Suddenly in the media one day they all mentioned Facebook. Suddenly in the media all day they all mentioned Twitter. Why didn't they mention Gab? Why didn't they mention Face Party? Why did they mention ICQ? Why did they mention MSN Messenger? Why did they mention any others that aren't in the Gulag? Because it's not in their interest. I realise this is something normies will never get because they're too weak. They're too weak. They're cowards and they're selfish.